वशषदलयुक्ते सौम्यमाधारपद्मे तरुणवरुणगात्रं वारणस्यां गणेशम् अभयवरदहस्तं चारुपाशाङ्कुशोद्यत् करयुगलमनन्यं चिन्तयेत् विघ्नराजम् भभमयरलसंज्ञैः अक्षरैः क्लृप्तपत्रे सुखकरमुपविष्टं पङ्कजे पद्मयोनिम् अभयवरदहस्तं गण्डिकां चाक्षमालां करयुगलमनन्यं चिन्तयेद्विश्वयोनिम् धाद्यैः फान्तगतैः प्रकल्पितदलैः पद्मे निविष्टं हरिं मार्ताण्डद्युतिमादिपूरुषमजं नारायणं शार्ङ्गिणं हस्ताम्बोजगदारशङ्खममलं पीताम्बरं कौस्तुभं श्रीवत्साङ्कितमब्धिजासहचरम् ध्यायेज्जगन्मोहनम् काद्यैष्ठान्तगदैः प्रकल्पितदले पङ्केरुहे पार्वती कान्तं कान्तिशशाङ्ककोटिसदृशं प्रख्यङ्कपर्दोज्ज्वलं शान्तं ठङ्गमृगाभयेष्टवरदं युक्तैः करैः कङ्कणैः ध्यायेदीश्वरमीप्सितार्थफलदम् हृत्पुण्डरीके स्थितं मूर्त्यङ्गेषु निविष्टमङ्गरहितं शान्तं तुषारप्रभं व्याप्ताशेषचराचरैर्गुणगणैः भावेन संवेष्टितं मूर्तामूर्तमनेकमूर्तममलं ज्योतिप्रदीपोपमं साक्षात् षोडश पत्रयुक्तकमले जीवं परं चिन्तयेत् हक्षाभ्यां परिवृत्तपत्रकमले दिव्ये जगत्कारणं विश्वोत्तीर्णमनो देहममलं स्वच्छन्दमात्मेच्छया तत्तद्योग्यतया स्वदेशकतनुं भावेन दीपाङ्कुरं प्रत्यक्षाक्षरविग्रहं गुरुपदं ध्यायेद्विभुं शाश्वतम् विश्वव्यापिनमादिदेवममलं सत्यं परं निष्कलं नित्यं युक्तसहस्रपत्रकमले व्याप्ताक्षरैर्मण्डितं नित्यानन्तमनन्तपूर्णभरितं शब्दस्तुषारीर्युतं शब्दब्रह्ममयं परात्परमहं भक्त्या परं भावये। स्निग्धाराळविसारिकुन्तलभरं सिंहासनाध्यासिनं स्फूर्जत्पत्रसुक्लुप्तकुण्डलमथ विश्वासभृद्दोर्युगं नीलक्षौमवसं नवीनजलदश्यामं प्रभासत्यकस्फायत् पार्श्वयुगं सुरक्तसकलाकल्पं स्मरेदार्यकम् कल्हारोज्ज्वलनीलकुन्तलभरं कालाम्बुदश्यामलं कर्पूराकलिताभिरामवपुषं कुन्तेन्दुबिम्बाननं श्रीदण्डाङ्कुशपाश शूलविलसत्पाणिं मदान्तद्विपारूढं शत्रुविमर्दनं हृदि महाशास्तारमाद्यं भजे तेजोमण्डलमध्यगं त्रिनयनं दिव्याम्बरालङ्कृतं देवं पुष्पशरेक्षुचापविलसद्माणिक्यपत्राभयं बिभ्राणं करपङ्कजैर्मदगजस्कन्दादिरूढं विभुं शास्तारं शरणं व्रजामि सततं त्रैलोक्य सम्मोहनम् मार्ताण्डकोटिसदृशोज्ज्वल दीप्तगात्रम् आर्तार्तिभञ्जनकरार्हदृगब्जयुग्मम् भक्तावली कलुषताहरबद्धदीक्षम् शास्तारमिष्टवरदम् शरणं गतोऽस्मि सुश्यामकोमलविशालतनुं विचित्रवासोऽवसान मरुणोत्पलदामहस्तम् उत्तुङ्गरत्नमुकुटं कुटिलाग्रकेशं शास्तारमिष्टवरदं शरणं प्रपद्ये ध्यायेदुमापतिरमापतिभाग्यपुत्रं वेत्रोज्ज्वलत्करतलं भसिताभिरामं विश्वैकवश्यवपुषं मृगया विनोदं वाञ्छानुरूपफलदं वरभूतनाथम् शास्तेति केचित् कतिचित् कुमारः स्वामीति मातेति पितेति भक्त्या यं प्रार्थयन्ते जगदीशितारं स एक एव प्रभुरद्वितीयः एकं शास्त्रं भूतनाथार्यगीतम् एको देवः धर्मशास्ता स एव एको मन्त्रः तस्य नामानि यानि एकं कर्म तस्य देवस्य सेवा तमालश्यामलं भद्रं पिङ्गलाकल्पसुन्दरम् अदिज्यकार्मुकं वन्दे सत्यमव्यक्तयौवनं त्र्यम्बकपुराधीशं गणाधिपसमन्वितं गजारूढमहं वन्दे शास्तारं कुलदैवतं शास्तारं कुलदैवतं शास्तारं कुलदैवतं कनिमूलमहागणपति स्वामिये शरणमय्यप्प माळिगपुरत्तम्मलोकदेवी मातावे शरणमय्यप्प सद्गुरुनाथने शरणमय्यप्प एंगल कुल दैवमे शरणमय्यप्प स्वामी शरणमय्यप्प. So in this Bhutanatha Gita, which occurs in the Brahmanda Purana, in the Bhutanatha Upakhyana, so far we have covered 6 verses. I will chant all the 6 verses that we have covered so far. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Janma Mrityadi Dukkhanam Nashanaya Mahipate Karmanam Nashanam Mukhyam Tatupayam Nishamyatam Bhakshanena Vina Rajan Kshunnasham Tu Yatha Tatha Karmanasham Vina Janma Nashamicchati Bhutale Karma Janmani Sanleenam Madhuryam Sugule Yatha Liyate Chet Yasya Chittam Brahmanyapi Mahamate तस्य कर्माणि नश्यन्ति विद्धि पार्थिव सत्तमा यः करोति च सत्कर्म निष्काम मनसा विभो लोकानामुपकाराय तस्य कर्म भविष्यति. सूत उवाच भगवत् वचनं श्रुत्वा पप्रच्छ च पुनर्नृप. राजोवाच ब्रह्मणो लक्षणं किं वा कथं तस्मिंश्च मानसं लीयते मार्गमध्यैव वदवारिजलोचन. भगवानुवाच आदिमध्यान्तरहितं स्वयं ज्योतिः परात्परम् अव्ययं निर्गुणं राजन् कालदेशादिवर्जितम्. So those are the 6 verses and the 7th verses we are going to cover today. In the last session, in the 6th verse, we saw how this King Rajashekara, the father of Ayyappa, inquired about the definition of Brahman, the Brahma Lakshanam, and the ways to resolve the mind in Brahman. This was the question raised. Now, Bhagavan Ayyappa answers the first part of that question, which is Brahmano Lakshanam, by defining the nature of Brahman. So let us look at the 7th verse of this Bhutanatha Gita, occurring in Bhutanatha Upakhyanā in Brahmanda Purana. Bhagavan Adi Madhyantarahitam Swayam Jyoti Parat Param Avyayam Nirgunam Rajan Kaladeshadi Varjitam. So that is the 7th verse. The Padacheda, the way to break the sentence is Adi Madhya Antarahitam Swayam Jyotihi Parat Param Avyayam Nirgunam Rajan Kaladeshadi Varjitam. So there are 6 adjectives in this verse, and all the 6 adjectives, they define Brahman, Bhagavan. They talk about the Surupam, the Satya Surupam of Ayyappa. And out of the 6 adjectives, 3 adjectives are in the first line, Adi Madhyantarahitam, Swayam Jyoti and Paratparam. And 3 more adjectives are in the second line, Avyayam, Nirgunam, Kaladeshadi Varjitam. So the meaning of the verse is, Rajan, O king, this Brahman is the one without beginning, middle or end, Adi Madhya Antarahitam. And it is Swayam Jyotihi, it is self-effulgent. And Parat Param, it is a supreme, immediate reality which is not different from you. And Avyayam, it is imperishable, Nirgunam, free from attributes, Kaladeshadi Varjitam, it is free from the limitations of time and space. So the meaning of the verse is, O king, this Brahman is the one without beginning, middle or end. It is self-luminous. It is the immediate reality which is other than you. It is imperishable. It is free from qualities, and it is free from any limitations such as spatial or of that of time, of Kala. This is the meaning, general meaning of the verse. So in the last verse, in the 6th verse, we saw that King Rajashekara had asked Lord Ayyappa, who indeed was King Rajashekara's foster son or son. He was Rajashekara's son. That was the avatar of Dharmashastra as Ayyappa, as Pandala Raja's son. And this Rajashekara and Ayyappa, they both happen to be historic figures. So there is a basic storyline which we hear from many Ayyappan Pattigal. The storyline is always there in the folklore of the southern part of India. And around the basic storyline, lots of mythological storylines are built up. But still, in the Nadan Pattigal, in the songs of folklore, a basic historic account is available. And so based on these stories, we know that Ayyappan was the son of King Rajashekara. He was cared by King Rajashekara as his son. And according to those Upakhyanam or narratives, as soon as King Rajashekara had this Vishwarupa Darshanam, the cosmic vision of Ayyappa in Shabarimala after the Pradishta, he realizes that Ayyappa is the avatara of Paramatman, of Dharmashastra, of Parameshwara. And this understanding, through this understanding, he gains this faith or Shraddha that he can achieve moksha or enlightenment through Ayyappa's grace. So this made the king a seeker of self-knowledge. And the king decides to surrender to Ayyappa, who is his own son. But having understood this dimension of Ayyappa, he surrenders to Bhagavan Ayyappa to understand self-knowledge, to understand the intricacies of Vedanta. And these phrases like Vedanta, Tattvam, self-knowledge, etc. is not something very distant from us. It is indeed true that it is a philosophical discussion that is happening between Ayyappa and Rajshekhara. But this discussion is about you and me. That is what it is. This Tattvam or Vedanta is the study of human existence, and its purpose is very close to every human being's heart. And the human heart is very complex and very simple at the same time. The human heart is very simple in that it only needs or longs for ahara nidra vastrani, for good food, for shelter and clothing. That is what it wants. But human mind, being what it is, converts this modest and simple ahara nidra vastrani, simple desire for food, shelter and clothing, into a complex, exorbitant, luxurious, extravagant lifestyle. And as a result, this simple human heart is transformed into a repository of hopes and fears, complexes and imaginations and projections and whatnot. Thus, the human mind reshapes this simple existence called life into a very complicated thing. So Vedanta tries to re-establish this complex human existence back into its plain and simple form by establishing the truth, the tattvam, or the reality in simple, lucid, and clear terms. And in order to achieve this, it goes about uncovering the different aspects of human existence, of life. All this which happens due to the complexity of human mind. And for the benefit of the entire humanity, and also to enlighten his student, King Rajashekhara, Bhagavan Ayyappa expounds the nature of reality in this Bhutanatha Gita. So the king, a seeker of self-knowledge, decides to surrender to his own son, who is way younger than him, his own son Sri Dharmashastra, because you cannot imagine a better intimate teacher than Bhagavan Ayyappa himself. So he approaches Ayyappa and asks for this knowledge of Brahman. It's only when a person surrenders, when he does complete Sharanam, then only Bhagavan shall take on the role of a teacher. Ishvara does not become a guru, he does not show a guru because of his own desire for a Shishya. He gets a guru status not because of his will, but because of the Shishya, because of the student's prarabdha. Student's prarabdha karma is the factor. When the student develops a keen interest to gain knowledge and then surrenders to the guru, seeking knowledge, it becomes preordained karma known as parecha prarabdham. And this kind of prarabdha, it manifests in seekers when seekers wish to know the nature of self, the nature of Atma, Atma Swarupam, and then develop a desire, a jnana to learn Shastra, then they transform this jnani by invoking an acharya or a teacher in him. So this change of a jnani is not the desire to be a guru for the sake of himself, but is the desire and the prarabdha of the shishya, of the student. So here King Rajashekhara's prarabdha and Utkatecha, a deep desire for moksha, made his son Bhagavan Ayyappa his guru. So now Bhagavan starts this definition of Brahman by saying Adi Madhyanta Varjitam. That is the opening statement of Bhutanatha Gita as a teaching. So generally, you can define something in two different ways if you want to define something. One, by positively stating what that thing or object is. That is one way. And the second way is by negatively stating or denying what that thing is not. So here Bhagavan starts to give the definition of Brahman negatively by explaining what Brahman is not, what Bhagavan is not. So here he uses an adjective or visheshanam to begin the lakshanam or definition, and that definition, the first definition is Adimadhyantarahitam, meaning Brahman is that which is devoid of Adi, beginning. It is beginningless. Then Madhyam, middle. And then Antarahitam, it is endless. It is devoid of an end. So the first definition of Brahman is the one reality or truth without beginning, middle, or end. So Bhagavan is referring to himself as Brahman by using this word I, Aham. And by this, he is excluding the thoughts, the minds, the senses, the body, etc. It is on this meaning that usually we use the word I. But Bhagavan clearly is differentiating this I he uses from mind, body, sense complex. So when Bhagavan says Ahamasmi Brahma, so Ahamasmi Brahma, Ahamasmi Brahma, Ahamasmi, when he says that, he uses the word Aham, I, for exclusively that object, that vastu, which remains untouched after negating everything. That is perceived by our mental modification, mental thoughts. The Vedas also present this well-known quotation in the chapter 4 of Khanda, Chaturtha Khanda, or section 4, in the 22nd mantra of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad of Sukla Yajurveda. Sa esha neti netyatma grihyo nahi grihyate. Neti neti. This self is that which has been described as neti neti. Not this, not this. It is imperceptible, for it is not perceived by any means. So this is the process of neti neti, or not this, or negation of non-self, the anatma. So whatever you are experiencing with your mind or thought or body or senses, you negate as anatma. The thought neti, I am not, because I am the experiencer of the thought. The thought is experienced by me. So we exclude the thoughts as anatma. The indriyani, the sense organs, are experienced by us. We experience our sense organs. So we exclude the senses as anatma. The mind is experienced, is felt by us in thoughts. So exclude the mind as anatma. The body is experienced through sensations. So exclude the body as anatma. Yesha neti netyatma. All that is perceived is not atma. In this manner, keep on excluding anatma. And after some time, you will find there is nothing left for rejection. When all the rejectable are rejected, whatever is left behind is I, the Atma. And as the Vedas state, Atma hi Brahma, that Atman alone is Brahman. So the first pada of the verse, Adi Madhyantarahitam Swayam Jyoti Paratparam, that is the second pada. So in the first pada of the verse, Adi Madhyantarahitam, Bhagavan Ayyappa shows this process of negation of non-self, of anatma. He's showing that process. Now, by this process, one can reach a point of emptiness, of void, and can say, like the Buddhists say, nothing is there because I don't perceive anything. And for this statement, Bhagavan Ayyappa has an answer. And the answer is, the person who makes this statement that I don't perceive anything or I see void is still very much there. So it is not correct to say nothing exists as the one who declares that the nothingness and is conscious of the absence of everything is very much present. And this Ayyappa goes on to say in the next definition as Swayam Jyotihi. Atman is Adimadhyandarahitam, and it is also self-luminous consciousness. Self-luminous means Swayam Jyotihi. Jyoti means luminous, which is the witness of the presence of all objects and the witness of the absence of all objects as well. That is this Swayam Jyotihi, witness consciousness, luminous consciousness. And how does it look? Where is it located? In which heaven or Vaikuntha or Kailasa or Sripura? Where can you find it? For that, the answer from Ayyappa is Parat Paraha. It is Brahman, as mentioned a little while ago. Atma hi Brahma. Atman is Brahman. Brahman is Atma, the self, that is you. And Atma is located in and as you. It is not located somewhere. Atma means Parat Paraha. Para means Anyaha. वो मेरे से पर है means they are other than me. So para means anya, other than you. And paratpara means it is not other than you. It is this paratvam, this otherness, we see all around us. And anything other than me is paraha, other than me. And that paratvam is duality, the otherness. And that is the problem. You always get into problem with the other. not never with yourself. The otherness is Param. But Brahman, Bhagavan, Paramatma, or Ayyappa, the Swami, the Satyam, the reality is Parat Param. The reality that you are searching is Parat Para. It is not the other, the Para. That is the meaning, the second definition of Brahman. That is the meaning of Atma. Therefore, the Tattvam, the reality you are in search, it is not other than you. Without understanding this, they say that God created man in his image. But in reality, it is the humanity that creates its own gods. That is why we have so many religions, so many dogmas, so many gods. And these gods worshipped by man are shaped by his hopes, his longings, and his phobias, his fears. Even the monotheistic gods, always man worships his own gods, his own creation. The only uncreated God, which is called Apaurusheya, uncreated by the human mind, by the human projection, by the human imagination, that God is the awareness, the Atma. That is the uncreated one. As Ayyappa mentioned, Adi Madhya Antarahitam. It does not have a beginning, middle, or end. It is never created. That Brahman is not created by the human thought. Awareness does not originate in the human mind. The mind exists because of that awareness, that Atma. That is the eternal self in man. And within man, eternal means Adi Madhyantarahitam. So that is the reality, the God, the divinity, which is you, that the Vedas assert by its declaration, Tat Tvam Asi, which Ayyappa is going to say in the end of the next verse. So the self, that which is essentially you, is the reality. The fundamental idea is the truth, the reality, the God that you are seeking is indeed not other than you. And surely it is not found outside of you. So stop searching, stop looking around for me outside of you, says Ayyappa. And what is wrong in seeking it outside of me? Because it will ever remain as the para, the other. It will never be parat para. The otherness will become the chief attribute, the vishesha of that kind of God. And by this otherness, you are not doing a favor to yourself. In fact, you are doing great harm. You may assume that you are doing a great service to yourself by devoting to that God other than you, who will provide you with some crumbs here and there as blessings that you seek from Him from time to time. You may assume that you are being very benevolent with yourself by this worship, but no, the otherness is solidified and integrated in the person, and such a person does not know the meaning of Aikya Jnanam, of Paratpara, of Ananyata, the oneness, the unitary consciousness, even if that comes on his way by Ishvara's grace. He is scared of that oneness and dumps it, detesting and resisting it. This oneness is always there experientially. This oneness, this subject object division that resolves in your experience all the time. in any given occasion, but we refuse to learn from those unitary experiences. And so the paratvam, the anyatvam, the otherness becomes the guiding factor, which is a huge disaster. And that is how it is with all religions of the world. But Vedanta proclaims Atma hi Brahma, Atman is the God. And so, even while worshipping the God on the outside, everyone is worshipping their own hidden Atma, your own self you are worshipping. You are looking for your own self, though unintentionally. Therefore, Ayyappa says it is Paratparaha. So, this phrase, this third definition of Brahman in the Bodhanada Gita, that is a key to wisdom, which opens the door of wisdom that you are Brahman, the reality. And so far, Ayyappa has given three adjectives, the three definitions to know Atma Tattvam, all in the first half of the sloka. Adimadhyantarahitam Swayam Jyoti Paratparam. Brahman is the one without beginning, middle, or end. It is self-luminous, self-effulgent, and it is the supreme immediate reality which is not other than you. Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahisha go brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sugino bhavantu sarve bhavantu suginah sarve santu niramaya sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.